Before we get into today's show, which is some OTAs talk, we got a likes battle going on. A Detroit Lions talk by Chat Sports episode last week did over 1,100 likes. I want to beat it. I want 1,122 likes or more on today's show. So if you want to take down those fraudulent Detroit Lions, hit the like button. Let's make it happen on today's video. I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. On today's show, we got the top 10 Bears players to watch at OTAs as they are going to get going here very, very soon. You look at the Bears OTA schedule, it's a little scaled back this year. May 20th and 21st, day off, and then May 23rd. May 20th, 28th, and 29th, day off May 31st. And then you got mandatory minicamp June 4th through 6th. If that sounds like less OTA practices than normal, it's only 6 compared to 9 or 10. That's because it is. The Bears scale back because with Chicago landing the Hall of Fame preseason game, A, they have a 4th preseason game. That's obviously extra. And B, training camp is going to start about a week earlier because of that. So they're going lighter on the OTAs. Mandatory minicamps about a week earlier than normal. Then they're going to break. And then they'll come back and start training camp somewhere in middle of July. All right, let's get into 10 players to watch at OTAs. Darnell Wright at number 10. Now, just a disclaimer, not much trenches play during OTAs. Otherwise, I'd probably have him higher because I think he's a key player to watch this year. Can he be kind of that lockdown right tackle? We certainly saw flashes of it last year. I thought he was the best rookie offensive lineman in the NFL in 2023, but you're looking for that more consistent play in year 2, more dominant play in year 2. You're not going to see that in OTAs, obviously, but it's more of just a player to watch for this season in his mold. So I'll have him at number 10. How about Gerald Everett, one of the offseason acquisitions for this offense, the veteran tight end. He, of course, has experience with Shane Waldron both in Los Angeles and in Seattle. He's been a productive player in this league. I really like the way he complements Cole Kmet as he's a good receiving tight end. Kmet, obviously a really good receiving tight end, but a better blocker, so they should complement each other really, really well. I think he's an X factor for this team. I don't really know what to expect out of him. He's kind of been, between 400 and 550 yards and about 4 touchdowns for the past 5 years. So he's been very, very consistent, but there's a lot of mouths to feed. I'll be curious to see how much of a factor he is, but I do think he could be an X factor. Austin Booker, one of the rookies, at number 8. He was bigger than I thought he would be at rookie minicamp. I thought he came in and put on some good weight. His legs are thick, has some room to add on to his frame at 6'6". He is raw, but he's very talented. I mean, this kid, there were reports after the draft that if he'd gone back to school and performed well, he could have been a second-round pick next year. Decided to come out. And fell a little bit in the draft, but he's got a lot of upside. The Bears liked him so much they traded back into the draft by trading a future 4th to get back into the 5th this year to take this player. So, I'm just curious to keep an eye on him. Do they feel good enough about him where they don't sign a veteran defensive lineman? That seems unlikely, but we'll have to wait and see. A big player to watch is Gervon Dexter. I would definitely have him higher for training camp, but since, pads aren't going to be on or anything again, trenches play is kind of limited, but there's still going to be some things, some drills you can watch, and has the get-off improved, the pad level, all that stuff, even though there aren't actual pads on. He's a key player, man, because with Justin Jones gone, he is slated to be your starting 3-tech right there next to Andrew Billings, who we know is rock solid as a nose tackle. Is Dexter ready for that big jump to at least be a starting level player? Last year he flashed, and in the second half of the year he played better, but still not to the point where the Bears made the switch to him as the starter. They still started Justin Jones the entire season. He's obviously gone now, having signed with the Arizona Cardinals, so it's the Gervon Dexter show now. It's time to see if he's ready for that bigger role in year 2. Will Gervon Dexter break out this year? Type Y for yes or type N for no. I'm hopeful that he will. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. Excuse me. Keenan Allen. Look, I'd probably have him higher, but he's 32. I don't know how much he'll even do at OTAs. He'll probably do some, but they're not going to overwork him or anything. But obviously, very curious to see how he does here, right? I mean, you're talking about a future Hall of Famer. This is one of the most productive players in the NFL since he's entered the league. Over 1,200 yards last year in just 13 games. That's almost 100 yards per game. I think the way this offense is, he's going to feast in it. I really, really do. Especially playing next to DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet. Like, you're not going to be able to double really anybody. So Keenan Allen in man coverage, thank you very much. He absolutely torches man. And if you go zone, he knows how to find the soft spots. So I think he's going to be good. In fact, it wouldn't shock me if he out-received DJ Moore, if I'm being completely honest. So very fascinating to watch him. PrizePicks, today's sponsor of Chicago Bears Now. If you've never played daily fantasy sports, listen up, because I hadn't either before PrizePicks, and I absolutely love it. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS when you sign up to get a first-time deposit match up to $100. You can get up to $500 if you start winning 2 to 6 player entries with PrizePicks. And the way it works is simple. Different lineups every day of your choice. 2 to 6 player entries with PrizePicks, and you can cash out if you hit based on their stat projections. You take more or less. Got some season-long stat projections here, including some new Bears ones. Caleb Williams, 3,400.5 passing yards. I like the more there. Still like the more on DeAndre Swift, 850.5 rushing yards. I'll take the more on Caleb Williams touchdown passes, too. I think this team's going to throw the ball a good amount. I'll go less on Rome Odunze receiving yards just because there's a ton of weapons on this team. We just mentioned Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett. Like, someone's going to come a little lower than expected. And then Trevor Lawrence, that's a low number. He has hit 4,000-plus passing yards the past 2 years, including last year when he was hurt for about 6 weeks. So I like that one. 5-player entry to really hit a big number there on your return. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get that first-time deposit match up to $100. NBA playoffs are ongoing, NHL playoffs, Major League Baseball. Lots of sports out there, lots of opportunity to cash in. Again, another trenches player, so this isn't as much as like, okay, you're going to see him dominate at practice. This is more of, okay, this guy had a rocky first year. He had the family death. His mom passed away. That was obviously very tough. We didn't know what the hell was going on for months. Nate Davis was in and out. Hopefully a smoother offseason is on the horizon here, because the Bears need Nate Davis to play well. They just do. It was nice to see him at the Cubs game with Caleb and those guys when they went out recently to Wrigley. And, you know, they gave Nate Davis 3 years and $30 million. And I thought once he settled in last year, he played pretty well. But then he sprained his ankle, came back, didn't quite look the same. So it was just an up and down first year for him. And look, the family stuff, that's tough, man. Like, I couldn't imagine trying to deal with that while trying to play professional football at the same time. But, you know, hopefully he's got the proper support system in place. He's ready to go, because if him and Tevin Jenkins can stay healthy, I think that can be a pretty good guard duo. Remember last year, Nate Davis wasn't even at OTAs. Hopefully he's there and he's participating. Kevin Byard, another X factor here. You know, we talked about it when they made the signing, but not so much since. This has a potential to be a pretty significant upgrade. Like, Eddie Jackson just wasn't very good last year. Kevin Byard over the past 4 years, mostly with Tennessee, has been very good. Now, last year, his level of play dipped a bit. The trade to Philadelphia ended up not being a great fit. They moved on, but he's still a really good player. Now, I don't think he's that 5-interception player anymore, but I think he can be a 2 to 3 pick guy, solid tackler, and what he definitely provides that Eddie wasn't anymore is reliability. He has never missed a game in his career. 0. Eddie Jackson missed at least 5 games the past 2 years. That foot was a problem. So even if he's the exact same player, it's an upgrade because he'll play more. But I think he'll be a better player than Eddie Jackson. Definitely a better tackler. That is undisputed. If he's, let's just say, 10% better than Eddie Jackson, a really good to great secondary that you already have could be elite. This could be one of the best units in the NFL with Jalen Johnson as your number one corner, Tyrique Stevenson, hint, hint, we'll talk about him in a second, Jaquan Brisker as well. Like, you've got pieces in place. I'm excited to see what Kevin Byard could do. He's a great leader as well. Subscribe to the channel. We will have you covered throughout the offseason program. OTAs reaction, minicamp, training camp will be here before we know it. don't miss any part of the journey. It's youtube.com/BearsNow. Go ahead and subscribe and join the channel for free today. Let's talk about Tyrique Stevenson. I am so excited to watch this kid. Call me crazy, the second half of last year, he might have been my favorite Bears player to watch. The intensity and fire this kid plays with at the cornerback position and the physicality is what I love at the quarterback position. He presses, he gets in your face, he talks shit, he lays the lumber, he's a willing tackler. 4 picks, he will take chances and make plays on the football. He's punching footballs out in week 17 against week 18 against the Packers, trying to pull off that upset, 16 breakups. Second half of the year, I thought he was the best rookie corner in the NFL. Now, Devin Witherspoon had the best rookie year among the corner. A couple other guys were probably more consistent throughout the season. But the second half of the year, Tyrique Stevenson was one of the best players on this football team, period. If he is more consistent and kind of builds off of that second half, like you could be thinking at the end of the year, holy shit, we have 2 number 1 corners. Like he's got that in him. And they play differently too. Like Jalen Johnson hardly gives up any completions. Tyrique Stevenson's probably going to make more plays on the football. Yeah, he'll get beat more, but I'm kind of okay with that when you already have the lockdown duo on the other side. So I love the way he plays with. He's a classic Bears defensive player with his physicality and his the way he talks and all that stuff. So I'm so fired up about this kid. I loved him leading up to the draft. I was thrilled when they drafted him, and his rookie year kind of played out exactly how I hoped. Sure, he started slow, but man, by the end of the year, this guy was playing with a lot of swagger. Which Bears player will have the biggest breakout in 2024? It very well could be Tyrique Stevenson. Like I said, it would not shock me at all if by the end of the season we viewed him as a number 1 corner. So let me know who you think that player is. For me, it's going to be Tyrique. And then we'll reveal these guys together, the 2 first-round rookies. I mean, come on. Rome Odunze, Caleb Williams. That's in this portion of the offseason, that's who you want to watch, right? Like, yeah, I want to see some of the other new guys. Yeah, I'm curious to see about year 2, year 3 breakout guys, all that stuff. But Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, like all eyes on these kids, especially the quarterbacks or the quarterback. You want to see how ready to go he is. This is going to be the most intriguing part of OTAs and minicamp is now that you get vets in there, how's Caleb Williams playing against competitive defense? Even if it's just 7-on-7, 11-on-11, no pads. Like, how does he perform? I'm curious about that. How does Rome Odunze hold up going up against a guy like Tyrique Stevenson? Like, that's going to be a hell of a battle during training camp when those two are duking it out. So, very excited about that. I think these 2 guys are for real. I think they're going to be kind of the next wave of the culture setters in this program that is year 3 into this regime, and it's going to be very, very fun to watch it all play out. I know you guys are. If you're excited about Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, spam me down below. Get the me's down in the comments if you are one of those people excited for the first-round rookie pairing. All right, appreciate everybody for tuning in to Chicago Bears Now as OTA is set to get underway shortly here. Give me a follow on Twitter at HGramNFL, and DMs are open if you have any questions.